Hello and welcome to the GrapeSEED Official Podcast. Today is a very special day at the official podcast studios. Today, we bring you the 100th episode of the GrapeSEED Official Podcast. And if you're trying to adjust your earphones right now, don't, because I am not Adam. I am Miklos, and I am your host today. And today we're going to be turning the tables a little bit. I'm going to run the show today, and I'm going to ask Adam the questions. Adam, how are you doing?
I am doing well. I'm a bit nervous. You had mentioned right before we started recording here that you are also nervous, but I'm a bit nervous because I like to be in control and run the show. And now I'm letting you run the show. So I hope we don't burn our house down here.
Yeah, no, I was nervous. I was nervous about just getting that first sentence out, the hello, welcome to the GrapeSEED Official Podcast. But now that that's over, I'm good to go now. I'm feeling great. So
fair enough.
Yeah. So I have a bunch of questions for you that I was thinking about. I think about all the time when I'm a listener to this podcast.
Thank you for your listenership.
Yeah. Are you ready?
Yep.
So let's do it. The first thing, something that I'm curious about, and I think that there are probably people out there who are curious about this as listeners of this podcast. You've had a lot of guests over the year and a half since this started?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
And you've had a lot of guests. And this is just my personal opinion. The episodes when you have a guest are the best. Like all of the episodes are good, but I don't know. I love hearing you talk with these various people, in all over the world. Like the episode recently with Bruce Johnson was the double episode was especially so just I'm getting emotional thinking about it right now. Like, we had so many amazing guests. But who's been your favorite?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I feel like this is just a setup for me to answer you since you've been the most common guest on the GrapeSEED Official.
Actually, please take me out of it because we all know how you feel. No, I
gotcha. We're good.
Yeah.
So the initial, when the podcast was first kind of pitched to me that I would be the host of this huge new endeavor a couple of years ago, I was thinking through, okay, what kind of content should we have? I listen to quite a few podcasts myself, and there are different elements of different podcasts that I liked and wanted to emulate when we started this one. But one of the big things was, okay, what is an inspirational story for teachers? Because of course, when teachers send in their videos to their coaches or they're talking to their coaches, they get a lot of practical advice. Okay, hold the materials like this, or use a pointer, or things like that. But what I've heard a lot when I was a coach was from other teachers that, hey, I want to hear other people's experiences and how other people have been successful with GrapeSEED. So I wanted to highlight a lot of those kind of stories on the podcast. And right about the same time, Japan was doing a special event with a lot of the school managers. They all came up to Sendai, where our headquarters is, and they had different presentations. And one of those presentations was they had a school owner from Vietnam, a friend of the show, Maya, come up and give a speech. And I was kind of in the back. I wanted to see what the event was how the event was going for Japan, but in the back of my mind, I was also thinking through this podcast, and kind of my attention was half focused on what you guys were doing and half focused on my own thoughts. And listening to Maya speak, I was like, wow, I want what she's saying right now. I wish I had all my audio equipment, and this could be episode number 1, because this is everything she's saying is excellent. I love it. So I talked to her almost like the president of her fan club, and got her business card after she had given her speech. And we set it up pretty quickly that she was going to be on. Now, eventually we decided that we were going to have the Open the Box series be the first 20 episodes. But then pretty quickly after that, I think she ended up being number 23. we got her story on an interview. So one of my favorite guests, I have many. It's hard to choose. Kind of like Bruce's answer when I asked him what his favorite character was.
He mentioned all of them, right?
Exactly. So Maya was my first favorite guest because of what I described there, because it was such a great, powerful story of her enjoying teaching and then wanting to open up her own school because she believed in what we do so much. So that was great. Oh, yeah. And your former coworker, Bruno. I think Bruno's one of my favorites because I think our personalities are very similar in a lot of ways. We're a little bit sarcastic, cynical people by nature, and I think we feed off of each other pretty well. It
makes for good humor.
Yes, exactly. And then I think more recently, Aaron Jones, who's a teacher in Tokyo, who's been on his own GrapeSeed Friends, and then he was on GrapeSeed Greatest Hits #5. He's just so thoughtful, and I've mentioned him a few times on the podcast, but I want to give him another shout out because every week I come into work on Monday morning, and there's an email in the mail carrier inbox from Aaron.
Goodbye, my friends, goodbye. I'm sad to say goodbye. It was a good day, but now I will say goodbye, my friends, goodbye. Goodbye, everyone.